Good evening, everyone. Housekeeping first of all. I remember to do it this time. I'm smoking, well, I'm not going to grace it by calling it a blend. It's my little combination of Gowth and Hoggart's dark rum plug with the unnamed Virginia Burley mixture that I mentioned on one of my very early videos. Give that constant rum flavour all the way through it, but in a ready rub form, as I said. And I'm smoking in a pipe that has already had a mention, the very first pipe I ever bought. Yeah. Okay, let's see if I can come in. I know the lighting's terrible in here. I am working on that. Okay, this is the one my daughter chose. Yeah. And it is a L&Co, which, having looked it up on the internet, I've actually got a site, I'll see if I can remember to put the link to it, where they list in the alphabetical order all the hallmarks and the markings on pipes for you to identify it, giving a bit of history on it, or, you know, it's quite basic information. So I looked this up because it has a silver band on it, the only reason my daughter chose it, it turned out, and it's a company called Loewe, L-O-E-W-E and Co. And they have some association with John Carrington's, I think, but I don't know more than that, and I forgot to do my homework before I came on here, and I've completely forgotten anyway. So, yeah, 12-year-old pipe. Pretty nice little grain on it. Feels really nice in the hand. Is it a great smoker? Alas, no. It could do with the smoke hole being probably widened a little bit, and it does tend to get a bit hot, but you know, I'd mentioned it a couple of times and I thought it fitting tonight to give it a smoke. So that's the housekeeping done. And it's gone out again. Oh my goodness, I haven't quite got used to all this talking and smoking really. I don't think I ever will. I want to just clarify the, wherever it is at the moment, the title of the video, Where Pipes Rest. I nearly changed it because it sounded as if I was going to do a video on what happens to the pipes when they die. And I thought, well, pipes don't actually die, do they? Oh God, if we left them hundreds and thousands of years probably, but a well looked after pipe, as I think most of you will agree, will outlive us, no matter how young we are. Pipes get killed, that's for certain, and I've seen a few of those in the last few weeks, where not just through neglect, but just abuse, and it's shameful. But you know, well looked after, they'll keep going. No, what I meant was where pipes rest after you've smoked them, when they're not in action. And what sparked this off was during last week when I was doing all my videos and watching other people's videos and catching up with comments and placing comments, which, yes, is, as I suspected from the beginning of my video endeavours, pretty high maintenance. Okay, but I'm enjoying it, but it does keep me busy. And I've been getting a little bit lazy with my pipes. I normally smoke a pipe, a couple of bowls in the evening generally, and once that's smoked I will let it cool down. I will diligently remove the stem and I'll put a pipe cleaner on it. I'm one of these people who will leave the pipe cleaner in there overnight. I'll clean the shank out and I'll just wipe the bowl round, depending on the cake in there, just to get that gritty stuff off there. And I do that quite fastidiously. And I noticed over the week doing the YouTube thing that they were piling up on the top here, and towards the end of it I was actually just leaving some of them and not cleaning them out afterwards once they cooled down. So I had a collection of 8 or 9 on there, resting. Yeah, and it got me thinking about it, what you guys perhaps do. Now, for a long time, when I didn't have many pipes, I didn't have a pipe rack. Next to my armchair in the lounge, where I do a lot of my smoking, I had this little kind of chest of drawers which my grandfather made years ago, and I would keep them all in there, close at hand. They'll all be laid on a tea towel or a duster or something like that, so it's a nice soft base for it. And there they stayed, and I could just lean over, pick them out. And it wasn't until I started getting more pipes I thought, well, I'm running out of room in here. decided to get some pipe racks. Now, there's three elements here, okay, in terms of where pipes rest, and one of them is scientific, so I'm just going to throw this one out really because I don't know. To me, having a pipe rack, well, I don't know, does it serve two functions? No, it's not. It's serving one function for me, and that's as far as organising your pipes. And that's another thing when I first started and started building up pipes. Do I order them in manufacturers? Do I order them in types of pipe, the shapes of pipe? What I've settled for in the end was, and it's worked for me ever since, for the last few years, is I keep them now in pipes to whichever tobacco they're dedicated to. So I'll keep all my Virginia ones, of which there are many, Periques, Orientals. I'm going down the scale here to the very few which are dedicated to English blends. And that's it. So organisation, and two, they look good. Yeah, it's nothing better than just seeing your pipes laid out. And I tend to go for wooden racks, thinking that looks really nice, wood on wood, with a bit of, you know, silver or pewter or nickel thrown in there as well. And I started looking at my pipe racks, thinking, okay, the scientific element here, and I've heard a few people talking about this, is, I suppose it's universally correct to say, or I've heard people say, never leave your pipes lying down flat. Okay, and I'll come on to the reasons why in a minute. And if you get a pipe rack, and you're probably going to be way ahead of me here, always make sure you get a pipe rack where your pipes stand that way up, bowl down. Never bowl up. Okay, and the only reason I've heard for that is to do with the moisture inside. Yeah, so if you keep them lying flat, the moisture's always going to stay there. Yeah, if you keep them up that way, the moisture runs down into the bowl, and therefore it's much easier to clean out. You just swab it out with a folded pipe cleaner. Whereas if you hold it that way up, all you're doing is promoting the gunk and the moisture and all the tastes and the debris and stuff into the stem, which is generally much more difficult to clean out. I started thinking, well, is that valid or not? Because as I said earlier, and I don't know whether you all do this, but I know that it's universally recommended, is once you smoke the pipe, now again, I will smoke pipe once in an evening, take it out, put the pipe cleaner in, leave it. I may leave it for days. Now, I know some of you make your pipe see some serious action in a day, smoking it 4, 5, sometimes 6 in a day, and 6 times a day, and then cleaning it and then letting it rest. Well, presuming you're doing that, which is fine. My pipe's just wimpy in that respect. They only get one smoke every few days. But if you are, however often you're smoking it, if you are then taking that couple of minutes afterwards just to make sure it's very basically cleaned out, my view is you're getting pretty much all the moisture out. Is this not correct? You've taken the stem off, and I will put a pipe cleaner in to absorb whatever moisture is overnight. But even if you're just swabbing it out afterwards 2 or 3 times, my view is you're getting the moisture out there. I'm also folding it up, getting into the shank bit here and wiping it around there, getting all the moisture out at the bottom. So surely, before you put it in a rack, there is no moisture in it. It doesn't matter whether it's upside down, well, or upside down, bowl down or bowl up. So I don't know what your thoughts on that are. I have only in the last few years started getting pipe racks. I didn't have enough earlier to justify it really, and when I started getting more, I couldn't really afford to buy the brand new ones, you know, 8 pipes, 6 pipes, anything less than that is perhaps for specialist pipes really, or the ones you really have spent a lot of money on, you want to keep in that little separate 2 or 3 pipe rack. And then, I say, I'm a fair newcomer to eBay, surprise, surprise, and I started looking on there for pipe racks and saw some really nice ones on there, and I wanted ones that were 6 or 8 capacity on there. And I kept getting outbid. You know, I said I have a limited budget for my smoking accessories, pipes and tobacco, and when it comes to eBay I got outbid on them really. And it was only going round, you know, craft fairs, charity shops, antique fairs, antique shops, that I picked 1 or 2 of them up. But I still have pipes that are not in racks. So a few weeks ago I did an experiment, and but was it experiment really? I thought, well, okay, let's find the cheap way of making a pipe rack. And I got my dad involved on this. So actually, let me go and get the pipe. I'm just going to pause for a moment here.